Hey, we want to welcome everybody to our Sacred Who's podcast, something we've done quite a bit a year ago and over the last 2 years actually. Took a little bit of a hiatus from that with COVID and some things going on with us getting so busy. And one of the things that we really decided to do the last couple months is really wanted to bring this back. We had a lot of people who reached out and wanted to hear some new content and to be able to provide some great insight into so many different topics that are out there. We posted the other day on Facebook about the podcast series starting back up, and one of the things that we asked is just some ideas on some potential topics that we could cover. And so I want to give, first of all, a shout out to Eric Olson, one of my former players at Andy Central. Eric was a heck of a high school basketball player, great father now, was a head high school basketball coach for Andy Central Dakota Christian the last couple years. So Eric had asked about the topic of overcoming adversity. And something that I think all athletes at some point in their career most definitely have a difficult situation with. And, everybody in life, adversity is a part of life. I think when you wake up every morning with a certain aspect of what's going to take place, and then a million things end up happening that end up creating roadblocks along the way. And so how we handle those roadblocks really becomes who we are and how we take care of our business every single day. So today we wanted to cover a quick podcast on adversity, and we'll focus a little bit on adversity in athletics, but also a little bit in regards to adversity in life. So Eric, I'm proud of you, first of all. And I really want to thank you for bringing the topic to light, because I think it's something that at this point in time, coming off of COVID and athletics going full stream, it's a great topic to talk about. So we'll talk a little bit about adversity today. I'm joined too, many people can't see his face, but Mr. Matt Larson from Big Sioux Media is behind the scenes for us today, taking care of all of our stuff. And so we appreciate everything that Big Sioux Media does for all the athletes across this area. All the coverage they do for high school sports is unbelievable, and for especially the little things they do for the Del Rapids community as well. So big shout out to Big Sioux Media today. So going on with adversity, one of the things as a high school athlete, collegiate athlete, and now as a high school coach, adversity is a part of everyday athletics, whether that be something small or something big. But a lot of times what I found is those small things turn into great big things eventually if they're not taken care of. And so the definition of adversity, the definition, if you look it up in the dictionary, just says basically it's difficulties or it's misfortune. Adversity can be something as little as that, a misfortune. But how big those become really is a direct result of how we handle it. One of the three things I want to talk about today is we all know that we faced adversity in three levels. In athletics that we want to talk about today, most definitely our students also in the classroom deal with adversity on a regular basis. And also our students deal with a lot of it just in relationships, the day-to-day happenings of what takes place in the school and outside the school setting. A lot of us in life deal with adversity, whether that be in our work, our relationships that we have, or within our own family, and even some of the very difficult things that happen that are out of our control, the day-to-day happenings, losing somebody. I just about a month and a half ago lost my father, something that you don't plan on having to go through, and that's an adversity situation in life. Probably a little bit bigger than some of the smaller things, but how you deal with that really has a direct reflection of who you are. But it also it ripples into how you deal with other things and other people. And so it's really important that you take a step back and are able to analyze and breathe and really try to deal with the situation the best you can. Looking into adversity, guys, I really look at it in two ways. There's an internal part. Is it something that I'm causing? A lot of times, especially in athletics, when you really look at it, there's some things that you really are causing that are leading to adversity. Whether that's how you mentally prepare for a situation, how you deal with something that you have done on the basketball court or on the football field. Then there's external situations, things that you typically really can't control. Maybe somebody else is doing it. Somebody else is causing that adversity. Again, those are situations you have to analyze and to see what can I actually do about this? How can I make it better? So when you look at adversity, it comes in two ways. It comes in internal and it comes in external. And so we'll talk a little bit about those things as we get going here today. Well, first of all, I want to break it down really. And when you see these slides, I don't want people thinking it's 100% basketball driven. You're going to see like on the court. Well, this can also be applied to on the field. It can be whether you're playing soccer or football or whatever, whether you're running on the track. It just happens to be I'm a basketball guy. So when you see on the court, it doesn't mean that it can't be done in different ways. So first of all, I really believe you have to live in the moment. Preparation before the start of a contest is really one of the most important things you can do to be successful. However, once the ball gets thrown up, once the gun gets shot off for your field event or track event, or once the coin flip takes place on the football field, you really got to live in the moment. You have to analyze and look at what's taking place right now and how do I instinctively do what the best I can based on my preparation. You actually control the moment. You do as an athlete. You do as a coach. What you don't control is what happened 5 seconds before or 5 minutes before. And how you control the moment really has a direct reflection on what happens in the future on the playing field. So really live in the moment. I think a lot of athletes who struggle with adversity in playing athletics, they spend way too much time with what already has happened. They just got them missing a shot and going down the other opposite end of the floor. It affects how they play defense. They turn the basketball over, and then it reflects upon how they don't handle their assignment when it comes to what they're supposed to be doing on the offensive or defensive end. So I always talk about the past will always haunt you, and it does truly control your next step. So live in the moment, please. One of the things, too, I always talk about with especially athletes like coaches, when you're allowing something bad that you did to take over your emotions, it shows a deep sign of selfishness. Because if I'm really focused on the things that I've done wrong, I'm not focusing on the team as a whole. And part of that is just stripping yourself down in regards to why are you playing the game? If you're playing for yourself, you're going to focus on every little thing you're doing. However, if you're playing for the betterment of the team, you focus on the big picture. And when you're focusing on the big picture, guys, then those little things become very, very minute. So it's important that you do that. Don't let selfishness creep into you being an athlete. You have to have a sense of trust in the process. And the process is about you as an athlete getting better. And as you focus on that, you'll realize that part of getting better is making mistakes. You're going to make a ton of mistakes as an athlete, as a person in life. And know that you're going to grow from those mistakes if you're able to handle them in a good way. You have to be okay with that. And you have to be okay with making a mistake and focus on your effort. You know, so many times you look at, I say the best baseball players are the ones who bat above 300. That means 7 out of 10 times they're failing at the plate. And when that happens, if they focused on the 7 out of 10 times, they would forget that they're a great hitter batting 300. And so you have to focus on the little things you control. The two things you control as an athlete, you control your attitude. And a lot of times your attitudes that come out in a bad way are because you're focused on adversity. You also control your effort. And 100% of every great athlete, I don't care what sport you play, the best always have great effort. And so if you focus on your effort and your attitude, adversity, it's not allowed to creep in. So I would say my best advice for every athlete on how to focus on dealing with adversity is focus on your attitude and focus on effort. And if you do those two things, adversity is not going to creep in. Next play mentality. One of my best friends, Carl Bazzardi, God bless him, and he passed on way too soon. But he had a mantra with the athletes he coached on the baseball field and with his own sons, and it was always next play. Focus on the next play. One of the coolest things is when Carl passed away, a lot of his friends were given a gift from his family, and I still have it today. It's a hat, and right on it it says in great big letters, "Next play." And that's what life's all about, man. It's about next play. Like I can't fix what happened yesterday, but I can deal with the next play, and that's today. How do I fix today? How to become better today? And so get that next play mentality. And when you get that mentality, things are going to be okay. In life, man, you know, I'm an old man now, and one of the things that I've realized that how I handled and dealt with adversity as an athlete and as a coach has directly impacted me in how I deal with it as a person in life. It can have a sustainable impact, man. I know personally a lot of people who have not been able to deal with some of the adverse situations in their life, who have completely changed who they are, what they are, and how they live their life because they have not been able to deal with it. So many of the people that I see that turn to things like drugs and alcohol, who've had a major struggle with those things, are because they do struggle with dealing with some of the adverse situations in their life. And so adversity, guys, when it's not handled well in life, it can have a direct impact, just not on you, but on others. I always say there's 3 levels to it. And this is a whole nother podcast in itself, Matt, but a lot of times people, and we've got a lot of people who are dealing with depression in today's world, and it's become something that is a hot topic in regards to it needs to be dealt with, and it needs to be okay. To understand it's okay to be depressed. It's okay to have those feelings, and we need to embrace others who are dealing with depression in a much better way in society today. But a lot of times depression is caused because we focus so much on the past. When our focus becomes so heavily driven on that, then you have a tendency when you deal with those adverse situations that have happened to become depressed. So focusing on the past can lead to depression. Always focusing on the future. There's a lot of great things about dreaming and setting goals. But also when it comes to thinking about all the bad things that can happen in the future, that deals, and that's how you really are created with anxiety. It's when you focus on the future so much and you start thinking about all the bad things or all the things that can happen that are negative, then anxiety starts to creep in. Really the best way to deal with life, because again, you really can't control the past, and I really can't control the future, even though I like to think about it, is owning the present. And how you own the present, how you focus on the day, it then has a ripple effect into your future. It's great to have those goals and those dreams, but if I'm only focused on those goals and those dreams and I'm not focused on today, those goals and dreams are never going to take place. And if I'm always so focused on the past that I don't realize that today I got to take another step forward, I'm never going to get where I need to go. And so the ultimate thing for me, the best advice I can give is live in the moment. Live in today. Be the best version of yourself. When you wake up every single day, ask yourself, how can I be better today than what I was yesterday? And if my focus is on that, things are going to continue to move forward for you, knowing there's going to be some bad things that are going to take place in your life. And again, if I focus on the moment, I'm going to get through those things. That's really important. The past and the future are big parts, and they really are. But really, your focus has to be on today. I would always encourage people who are struggling, whether that with depression or with anxiety. I would say be sure to reach out for help. We've got too many people today that aren't. They internalize. They don't want people to know that they're dealing with situations because it makes them feel weak. When in all reality, guys, there's nothing more powerful than asking for help. And so I would anybody who's watching today, if you're dealing with any type of depression, any type of anxiety, I'm going to tell you to reach out. And if you don't know who to reach out to us. We'll help you get where you need to go and help you get through it. But today I wanted to thank Eric for allowing us to bring up a huge topic that I think is so awesome in adversity, because it's a part of athletics and it's a part of life. I hope you got a little bit out of something today, and know that if you ever need something, Sacred Hoops is always here to help. And so for Alan Bertram, myself, and for everybody else in our Sacred Hoops family, we want to say thank you for all the support you give to us, and we wish you the best today, and be your best. Be your best today.